Chris, I'm going to go back to you to start on this one. What was your headline of the year?
Yeah, okay, this one. Yeah, Walmart's back at it. For me, it's Walmart and ChatGPT's integration.
Hmm.
And I say that not knowing what the hell it even means yet. Like I think it's just kind of been announced. We don't know what it's going to look like. It's kind of amorphous in terms of how they're describing it. And meanwhile, like you said, Anne, Walmart's fortifying generative AI search on its own site via Sparky. So, but net, I think this announcement or this headline is important because one, if they do it, if they do integrate with ChatGPT, it potentially hurts Amazon because Walmart has always been the third banana to Amazon and Google in terms of first product search, and that gives Walmart some entry into that game in a way they haven't had before. And it still gives Walmart the option value of deciding what products it wants to make available via the LLM. You know, for example, they're
Hmm.
very smart to not allow groceries into that equation right now. They've said that from the get go, and I think that's a really smart move. And then the third piece I'd say is, the reason this is important is it means competitors are going to be rushing in. Everyone's going to be looking at this now. They're going to go willy nilly into it. They're probably not going to be articulating their long term strategies inside their boardrooms that well, and it just opened Pandora's box effectively in terms of how retailers are going to start thinking and interacting with these LLM search engines.
Yeah, I'm gonna just tag on to the end of that, Chris, because my headline of the year was actually Etsy and OpenAI teaming up to allow transactions through ChatGPT because of the impact,
Very
like you were
similar.
just saying. I think
Yeah.
that we witnessed this year, and I think I called this out when we read this headline earlier this year, but this is a seismic shift in how we are shopping as consumers that I think we're going to look back on the same way we look back on 98 and 99 as kind of the year that e-commerce really kind of came to the fore. So I think for me, Etsy and OpenAI, well, Etsy wasn't maybe not a complex retailer to start with. I think that really was the kind of the first launch of this new wave of shopping. Chad, I'm going to let you close us out here. Headline of the year, what was it?
Yeah, now I'm seeing where we're gonna converge over the course of
Oh
this
yeah.
show across different omnis, right? But let me put a pin in that for a second, because what I chose is the actual headline of the year. And it's bigger than a Walmart story, but it was Doug McMillon retiring and John
Oh
Mm,
Kerr
wow.
taking over,
Okay.
right? And
Wow.
so I'll start with the little like, celebrating McMillan and kind of Walmart portion of it, right? And elevate that, right? Because, I mean, listen, a decade ago, Walmart was largely seen as a legacy retailer struggling to compete with e-commerce rivals, right?
mhm.
And you guys alluded to it. How many headlines just this
Oh
year,
yeah.
let alone the last couple of years, have you ended with statements actually suggesting that some big strategic swing that Walmart was taking is giving it advantage over Amazon, right? Like
Mhm.
unheard of maybe a decade ago. I mean, like under McMillan, Walmart has added things that Amazon does really well, right? Building out digital commerce. They got Walmart Plus to a place that's arguably as valuable as Amazon Prime. They've created a retail media superpower. One of the headlines that I've loved over the last year or so is like them buying Vizio and building that out into this, with
Yeah.
its retail media implications. Now, Chris, what you said in terms of like agentic AI, right? Like they now have the things but they also, sorry, have the things that Amazon does not, advantaging them
Yes.
with the brick and mortar footprint, right?
Mhm.
So there's all of that dynamic. They've moved upstream from, a legacy low income consumer to all income brackets, from general conservative risk adversity to an agile, fast, fail fast retailer, right? Stocks up 4x over this time. All these things, all these things. But ultimately, the reason I picked this is because I think it's
Yeah.
bigger than celebrating McMillan and Walmart specifically, right?
Mm.
Like we're venturing, and you said it, right? We're venturing into the most disruptive time in retail since the advent of e-com, right? And as we look at this game-changing tenure of Doug's and sunset that, sets up for John. But the whole industry to really think about how they now fill this space and define the next phase of retail, call it this post-Amazon disruption era, how that's going to go. And fortune will favor those who make similar proactive structural shifts that's going to shape the direction of the industry. So I toast you, Doug. I wish John the best coming in, and we're entering a new era.
Doug is such a great name for a podcast. I toast you, Doug. But you're bringing up a great point, Chad. Like Doug was seemingly the exact right person for Walmart given the phase of where retail was. And now you're right. We're at this point now with all these announcements that Ann and I just talked about regarding generative AI to say, okay, what does that next phase of retail look like? And now it's John Furner's reins to drive and steer that ship. So yeah, it's crazy.